back to Dallas Cowboys coverage after a much-needed win against the New Orleans Saints. It wasn't always pretty, but the Cowboys got the job done. So I'm just going to go over that, break down every aspect of, what happened on Thursday night, and a brief preview into next week's game. So all that coming up next. So let's go ahead and get started. It was really, not a perfect game, but the Cowboys got the job done, and I think that's all you can ask for, especially, down their head coach. A lot of guys finally coming back, but still a lot of guys out. So, again, not a perfect game, but, I'm taking the win, and I'm happy with it. I'm hyped about it because, it was just really a much needed one. I want to start with the offense. Dak Prescott, he was solid, The first half was good. As the game went on, he kind of started to, struggle a little bit. But I think with Dak, I think we've all noticed that he's just been a little off, just over the last, maybe last month, really, November, this team has been off. And just, some missed throws that we know he can make, just hasn't quite been the same guy that we saw at the beginning of the season. So I think he can get back on track just like the rest of this team. It's just been something. It's been off. The running game hasn't been good at all. The wide receivers have been okay. There's been a lot of drops. A lot of guys out, though, of course. Cooper coming back out, coming back, CD coming back. It's just been a wild first half of not first half, but just the season so far. A lot of guys, did come back against the Saints, and I hope that we'll continue to see a lot of guys come back against the Washington football team, hopefully kind of get a almost mostly healthy team, at least in comparison to what we've seen so far this year. So continuing with that, the running game, it wasn't good over these last few games. It was better, mostly due to Tony Pollard's big run, and, he's getting my player of the game. For the second week in a row, he had, a huge run. They run it outside, and that's what happens. I think it's a game plan thing too. We've seen so many inside runs just right into the center, right into the D line, and they're not going anywhere. Just a little bit of, creativity, just getting it outside, letting Pollard use his speed, and he did on a huge run. The Cowboys' longest rush since 2017 by Alfred Morris. So that's an interesting note. Tony Pollard, a huge run there. Gets the touchdown, and my player of the game as well. As for Ezekiel Elliott, again, like we've been saying, he just doesn't look right. He looks off, He had, I think, 40-something yards, 44-ish yards, not bad, but not good. Just his longest run was that 10-yard gain, and I think everyone saw that just wasn't Zeke, He didn't look right. You could tell his knee was bothering him. He couldn't get up to speed like he normally can, and I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know if it's going to be resting him for a week. The Cowboys do get a nice little break here after, so many games back to back to back with the Thursday games. It was, we get a nice, I think, 10-day break, right? Until next week's game. So, that will be nice for Zeke and the whole team. Everyone dealing with these injuries, banged up. I really hope that he can, get back on track, because obviously we all saw, last year the struggle, and I think a lot of us were really excited to see, the bounce back, what he could do this year, and through the first, I don't know, maybe 6 games, he was awesome. It was vintage Zeke again, He played really well, and it was really exciting to see, but ever since that knee kicked in, it's been bothering him. He hasn't been the same guy, so I hope he can regain that form, especially, before the playoffs. And, this is a really important stretch, these last 5 games of the regular season, for seeding purposes, for, clinching the playoffs. It's going to be key, that we have as many guys as we can, and I hope that, he's able to be okay and be good to go. Not just able to play, but able to play at a high level. Wide receivers, it was a pretty solid game for all 3 of them, I think. Amari Cooper didn't play all that much, but had a few key catches when he was in. You can tell he also was not 100% coming off of his COVID illness. So CeeDee Lamb had a great game. He had, I think, 100, maybe 20-something yards. He was really good. Michael Gallup also had a solid game as well. Some great catches again. Had the one touchdown. So really nice to see Gallup getting back in the swing of things. Really an important player that we have missed. So tight ends, solid play. Not anything earth-shattering, but solid game for Dalton Schultz again. The offensive line play, I think, was better. Still not perfect, especially in the run game, but the pass protection was solid. Nice to see Leal, Zach Martin, and Tyron Smith all out there together. So, we'll see if that stays the combo. We'll see, the Connors, who ends up starting, Leo Collins and Terrence Steele. Again, let me know in the comments who you like, at each of those positions, because the Cowboys, like I said, don't quite seem to know. And they haven't quite made up their mind. We'll see who's out there against the football team next week. All right, on to the defense. Micah Parsons, another great game. Had another sack. He's keeping that streak going. I think he's up to 10.5 on the year. It's just been amazing what he's done. Not only, just exceeding everyone's expectations as a linebacker, but truly a pass rusher. I mean, he can be an edge rusher, true edge rusher, and he's in the defensive, not just rookie of the year conversation now. I think he's got that locked up, but now, he's put his name in the defensive player of the year conversation. What he's done, the sacks, and then when he's not sacking the quarterback, the tackles for a loss, something crazy. I think maybe 15 or something, a number like that. Maybe it was even more. Just incredible numbers. He has the forced fumbles as well. He's so many QB hits, so many pressures. He's just been outstanding, and he hasn't even been a full-time pass rusher this year. It's been nothing short of amazing what he's done. One of the top rookies in all of the NFL. I think we redo the draft, he's a top 3 pick, no question. So really, just such good play by him. He's become, one of the new leaders of the defense. And speaking of that, Demarcus Lawrence coming back. Had a good game, a very Demarcus Lawrence type of game, doesn't fill up the stat sheet, but if you're watching, you see the impact he had. I think, that forced fumble that didn't count, I think it should have been, maybe you could say the arm was going forward. That's what the ref said, but let me know. Was that a fumble? Was it not? I think it was, but either way, Demarcus Lawrence, his impact, his presence was felt, and just having those two guys, two edge threats, and not to mention when Randy Gregory can get back in the lineup. Really, really a good step in the right direction for the defense. Keanu Neal, I think, played better. He had been struggling a little bit as well, but Leighton Vander Esch had his worst game in a while. Dropped an interception at the beginning, missing tackles. Just doesn't look comfortable out there. It's been, it's really sad to me, just the really, regression by Leighton Vander Esch, and we saw Jalen Smith. Obviously, he's not on the team anymore, but just those guys. They were supposed to be the top young linebacking core of the future. We were talking in 2018, just how bright the future looked for those two, and now both of them just have simply fallen off a cliff. I don't know what exactly happened. But these are two Pro Bowl caliber, Pro Bowl type players, and now they don't even look like starters. Jalen Smith's not even on a team, and Vander Esch, I don't think will be on the team next year. I was really hoping for kind of a bounce back season, especially with Dan Quinn, and a lot of success from the defense elsewhere, but it's been a struggle for sure. Moving on to the secondary, Trevon Diggs gets his interception again, and he was not the only one. I'm calling it the power 4 of interceptions. Carlos Watkins, the pick 6 at the end of the game to really put it away. Jerron Kearse had one. Devontae Casey had one. It was just an interception game. Taysom Hill, he was not right after that finger injury. And then the Cowboys defense, they feasted in the fourth quarter. 4 interceptions. It was just dominance by the defense. It's really, the Cowboys offense has kind of been the main selling point, for this season. But over the past few weeks, this Cowboys defense has willed this team to victories, or at least kept them in the games during the losses. It was a great game by the defense. Anthony Brown, much better much better. He had that solid bounce back game. Some good pass breakups, no pass interferences. It's good to see. So really, just a great play overall by the entire defense. Really, just a good performance by everyone. Not too many issues except late man rush as we talked about, but it was just a great performance. The turnovers they forced. It's been so exciting to me. Just if you've been watching the Cowboys over the past few years, just the turnovers have not been there. Defensively, forcing turnovers has been such a struggle. Maybe our top interceptor has maybe two, maybe three if we're lucky. But just what they've done this year, Javon Diggs with 9 interceptions. Anthony Brown, I think, also has like 4. Jaron Kersey's getting up there now. But just the turnovers, not just interceptions, but the fumbles. It's been a different defense than we've seen in a long time. This is a type of defense that wins you games, that, isn't just good enough to get by. It's truly a strong and good unit and a huge, critical part of this team. They say defenses win championships, and I mean, this isn't, as good as some defenses we've seen win championships, but this is a defense that can hold their own in big games and playoff games. And, if the offense can start clicking like we saw them earlier and the defense can continue like this, the Cowboys have 2 incredible units, offensively and defensively. They just got to put it together. And this 5-game stretch, I think, is their opportunity to do so. Really an easier part of the schedule, but, they can't take any game for granted. They got to play as a team. They got to really click, because they haven't been doing that, I think since the Falcons game. We haven't had that good overall game, and we really need that to come, and come soon. And again, we got the win, no complaints there, but there's still a lot of work that this team needs to do. And it's got to come fast. So, I'm going to do a quick preview of the football team Dallas Cowboys game real quick here before I get out of here. So, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys have been incredible against Washington. He's, I think, 7-1 in his career. Has an incredible, I think, 13-1 touchdown interception ratio. We've had success in the past, and this is the first time we've played Washington this year. And it's got to be a big performance, I think, all around. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the running game. Obviously, the injury updates. Tony Pollard, on that big run he had against the Saints, there was news that he hurt his foot. McCarthy called it a sprain. He called it I think the official word was a partially torn muscle in his foot. They're saying he's a game-time decision. I think the injury sounds a little bit worse than it is. I think he does have a chance to play. I wouldn't count on it, though, because it, doesn't sound like the most comfortable of injuries. So I really hope that he can get back out there. We talked about Zeke's struggles with his own injuries, and that would not, be ideal for the Cowboys. So hopefully, even if he doesn't play next week, he is able to get back on track, and hopefully, that injury hopefully isn't too impactful and he can keep playing through it. You hate to see that, but we really need him. So, Corey Clement, maybe he gets a couple reps. Ito Smith was signed onto the practice squad. Watch for him to maybe be activated. So, some depth there is, it's not the best. It's really Zeke and Pollard and, Clement, just no one's scared, I think that, they can have some serviceable carries, but, hopefully Zeke and Pollard can really work and to get back to full strength, both of them. And unfortunately, I'm not sure if that's going to be the case, but just for them to be out there playing, I'm sure they will be, but just definitely a concern, how the running game has not been at its best. Hopefully they can be out there and playing, not with injuries. So, it's been really a struggle all year, with injuries. But luckily we're getting Randy Gregory back, Neville Gallimore back playing. That's huge for the defense, who's been playing really incredibly. I'm really excited to see all of them back on the field. I think that's really crucial for the team, and that's just really going to be a key factor for them. So, good luck for the Cowboys next week. Hopefully they can get that victory. So, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.